Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is brought to you by BeSimply.
Stars, trees, clouds, and the moon. They all have a meaning and they look just like you.
Welcome to this segment of BeSimply. This is Suzanne, and I want to thank you all for joining this segment of Soul and Luna cycles and Soul, Silence, and Sound all combined together. Lately, that's been the transmissions on each lunar's cycle and looking to see what else comes out as we enter into this new season. So depending where you are in the world, some like to view this as the entry into fall and the entry into spring, and our center line is rock and steady. And as I've mentioned before, this really is nuanced depending where you are. So you might have some beginning signs of this, and this may take a whole additional lunar cycle, especially where I'm at, before we truly are in the fall season. So remember, following a lunar and solar calendar has nothing to do with the banker's calendar. It really has to do with naked eye astronomy, staring at what's happening with the constellations above, if you can see them, and noticing what's happening astronomically with the sun and the moon. So today was kind of a fun day. We had a partial solar eclipse that isn't visible from where I am, but different parts of the world, it has been available today. It started at 10:29 a.m. Pacific Coast time here in the Northern Hemisphere and finished out about 12:41 p.m. Again on the Northern Hemisphere, and that would have been tomorrow for our brothers and sisters in the Southern Hemisphere. In addition, our new moon was at its fullest point at 12:54 p.m. Pacific Coast time. And the reason, just to share the Chronos time, is, the banker's calendar and Chronos time gives us just a way to communicate in the language that we're used to in this day and age. I really applaud you if you can move away from that outside of like work and stuff like that. You will sync up with your natural biorhythms much more effortlessly if you attune to that. So the astronomical experience that happens when we have these celestial bodies pass each other is quite profound. And also as we enter into a new lunar cycle, that's equally profound. It's an opportunity for moving forward with something, letting go of something, transforming something, stepping into the next. And I think the reason so many people like, quote unquote, the fall season, it almost feels like the beginning of a cycle, because you get to shed something, you get to incubate it, you get to give birth to it in the spring, and then you get to sip it up for the summer. And so we would be doing this in opposite fashion with the northern and southern hemisphere, with our brothers and sisters rocking steady at the equator. This is really important, and that's why the banker's calendar doesn't work so much, is because the calendar is set to the same for everyone. So when the southern hemisphere's in their summer, it's quote unquote this month called January. And so it doesn't really serve. And back in the day, we would have 3 calendars operating and in rhythm with the seasons. And I look forward to that continuing to unfold for each and every one of you. As you wish to just get out and see the stars every once in a while, even if you have to drive out of a city center. It's super important. So as I mentioned the last broadcast 2 weeks ago, I think it is now, is that we have the Mother and the Earth Mother and the Cosmic Mother really coming together at this very beautiful moment, coupled with this opportunity, if we so do choose, to really allow things to be. And this is probably one of the gifts from the boomer generation, because they were very, and still are for the most part, really skilled at just letting things happen and then not addressing them. Now, the beauty to letting it be is what happens is it gives it space for everyone to digest. And it doesn't go in there and keep poking, prodding at something that can't be resolved in that moment. So I would say the boomer generation and the silent generation had that partially correct. Usually there was an altercation or some kind of conflict. But then once that had come to its apex, it would be dropped and then never talked about again. Now, if both parties or all parties involved would take the time when that occurred to digest it, to make peace with it, maybe learn how they could navigate in the future to maybe mitigate what just happened in a productive way, in a healthy way. What we're seeing from generation to generation, that didn't necessarily occur. There was a lot of stuffing, pushing things down, or really just being in a fight or flight, trying to avoid those altercations, because sometimes they were quite, they would be considered violent by this day and age, especially mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And this is really not to blame on the silent generation or the boomer generation. This is that domino effect to here. And then right now, we're in this very tenuous situation because we have people are more aware of their emotions. They are becoming emotionally intelligent. The pendulum has swung a little too far that way because your emotions are not meant to drive your life. They're meant to alert you, to inform you, and help you process what's going on, and then use your words, communicate, have action that is supportive to your well-being and others. We've been a little stuck in this trauma loop and this righteousness around emotions. And now is that moment to really say, okay, well, one of the gifts, the silent, the boomer, was this ability just to have an experience, but let it be. And irregardless of what people did with that information after that moment, that's all on each individual. And you can, heal and do all these beautiful things now. But that let it be is so important, because what can happen and what we've been seeing is all this emotionally charged information, and I'm right, you're wrong, push, pull, it's my way or the highway kind of mentality creates more tension and actually more harm, because there was never that moment to kind of just get away from the situation and be peaceful. And so this is where you would look at the Gen X. They would disappear because they're like, if I disappear, I don't have to deal with the potential tension that could rise up. And in that disappearing act, they had the space to process, to integrate what had happened. So the let it be works really well for people that were born in the era of quote unquote let it be, or the Gen X. Now, our subsequent generations are wanting to talk about things, want to have emotions, wanting to be offended. And hilariously enough, our Gen Y, I get confused, but our Gen Y, Z, all of that, they are the reincarnation, especially of the silent generation, early on boomers. And so it's interesting. They had to squish their emotions down in those generations, but now they really want to have them. And for the Gen X, I would say, is the bridge, the generation of having tolerance and knowing how to navigate difficult waters. And so I really extend that out to anyone out there that is a Gen Xer. You have a really amazing role in this transition that we're all in. One, to show your elders and your younger generations how to let it be and to give it space so that it can really find its proper solution or resolution. And then ironically, we still have some of these boomers, and maybe, I don't know if a couple of silent generations that are in this old paradigm, like Austin Powers, that feel that they are going to be the dictators of the people. And it's really the reincarnated silent generation and early on boomers that are the youth of today that are like, we're not doing this. We're not going to repeat this. So, that's why we're having a lot of conflict right now. But it's really beautiful because within that, then there becomes all this opportunity for solutions, resolutions, and a new way of being. Now, some of you may feel like that's not possible. However, the universe works in ways that are very mysterious and are not controllable. You can't imagine if I said, go to your faucet right now and grab the water, and I want you to hold on to the water when it comes out of the faucet. And I want you to try that. It's not possible, right? You can't control something that's so fluid. The same with electricity. The electric currents were electromagnetic beings, also nourished by a fluid system, which is water. We're right now at that high point of shifting our fire energy for our water energy and our water energy for our fire as a global community. And those are two very powerful sources of energies that cannot be held. You can't hold them. They just go. So we know that the constant is change with these two dynamic forces, the yin and the yang. And then we also have these subtle layers that we get to nourish during the spring and fall. Now, what this means to you, practically speaking, is that if inspired, especially during this lunar cycle, is to really practicing the let it be, give it space, allow the phonetic energy of these big shifts to happen, and then really listen deeply, as I always say, but most importantly is to love deeply. People have become, humans on this planet, Earth plane, have become so righteous in the sense that they think their way is the solution. Now, in embodiment of anything, that is what? One, it shows that you have chosen to embody that which you pontificate about, that which you might be righteous about, that which you might serve with. And when you embody it, then people can see it in action. And then they can see if they resonate with it or not. And if they don't resonate with your actions, that will create a polarity and they'll move away from you. If they resonate with it, then there will create a magnetism, and the people that are destined to co-create with you, create those types of solutions, will come together and you'll be in harmony and calibration. Meanwhile, those that did not will be magnetizing to where they can be in harmony. And much like the multitude of things that are happening in a forest or the jungle or in the ocean, there's all these microorganisms working together to allow it to be as it is. So in our human suits, no one has to be right or wrong. However, to remember that nature teaches all of us so many profound things. And if you go in nature, I've said this so many times and I probably will never stop saying it, it will teach you. It will teach you so many things. And the number one thing it will teach you is peace and calm. There are no hysterical trees. There's no hysterical birds or anything. And the only time you might see that is if there's a threat, right? So we as humans have become the biggest nuisance to ourselves and our organic system. And so this is our opportunity to come into harmony, not only with each other, but with the ecosystem that is around us. And that is exciting because that means there's going to be transformation. There's going to be a new resonance with one another. And when we give that space for everything to be, letting it be, then we will have the opportunity to love each other deeply. And so from an Eastern lens, it's so beautiful because the systems are not meant to lock you in and hold you hostage. They are a framework that allows you to achieve many beautiful things and to be at your highest and best. And within the systems in the East, they are not something that you have to force. They are really about being and allowing, and then things fall away, very much like the leaves fall away in the fall season. And when those things vanish, new opportunities come forward. And so if I can impart anything on any one of you that's listening right now, is that, you know, the mother, the biological mother that gives birth to humans, is there to really allow all that she creates to be what that individual is destined to be. And what else does the mother do? She loves deeply. She may not always agree with her cubs. She may not always be excited about all the phases. She also sips up all the phases. But she shows up with love, deep, unconditional love. And that is the tipping point for humanity, because we've gotten so far away. And that's why our reincarnated silent generations and the ones before are like, I want to feel, I want to have emotions, I want to be offended, I want to have this liberty returned to me. And so that has been part of this period, is for people to learn, in several generations, the younger ones, to learn how to have feelings, how to do all that. But then it's time to come back. And that's where Gen Xers, you are really key here, is to help these opposing generations to find the middle path. And that middle path is really was a survival skill for many of you in the younger years. But now it gets to expand out into this Taoism, or from a Buddhist or yogic lens, where you get to be in the center without causing harm. And that means that you're not placing judgment. You're just really helping others along the way. And for yourself, you're not causing harm to self internally or externally. And when you're in that sweet spot, then you look out and you realize, like, wow, I'm in harmony with nature. You realize, like, oh, maybe while I'm on my hike, I should not be talking so loud in the forest because it's very quiet. You might realize, like, wow, there's no like mass hysteria out here. It's very calm. It's very peaceful. Even out beyond the waves in the ocean, it's very calm for the most part. Like, so there's all these mirrors that are there. And that is something that the Gen X generation had learned inadvertently, because they had to bridge hostility into the children they would be birthing that wanted to have a lot of emotions, and they wanted to have the emotions with their kids and communication and all that. So it's a beautiful arc that's happening. And with the new lunar cycle, we are being welcomed into this space to come back into middle ground and really reduce where you have division, where you have judgment, where you have hostility, where you have violence. All of that's to go away, because that will release control, fear, and doubt, which causes the most harm to the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual body. So if you're inspired and you want to do your part, start to do the check inside. Give yourself some space just to be as these seasons shift, and to feel into where you can love yourself more deeply. And that is simply done by sweeping out these things like fear, doubt, control, sweeping them out so that you can have that space, that yummy space, to exchange love with yourself and others. And if you want to know how to do that unconditionally, and you had a mama that loved you unconditionally, that would be your lead there. And if you didn't, by chance, by karmic cause and effect, have a mama that was capable of doing it, it doesn't mean that she didn't want to, but she did give you life, then look around and see. And this is why I would say all around the world, there are external mirrors of the mother. And the mother, as I've mentioned in previous broadcasts, has been pushed aside. And now she's stepping forward, full front and center. And then there it comes an opportunity to balance the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, which exists in every single one of you. So for those that cling on, and we all are Klingons a little bit, to the past, to the old power structures, to the ones that co-opted from the mother, the patriarch will be bit by bit dissolving, and a union will occur. So for those of you that want to be ahead of the curve, I highly recommend that you start to bring your scales into harmony, and not inorganically, organically. Find the most sincere, the wisest meeting. They have a high level of intelligence to work with you, to co-create with you. You will be ahead of the curve. And if you are birthing something beautiful in your life, keep that in mind from here forward, that if you can walk in harmony, inner union with yourself, you will continue to make efforts that will put you in a place that can be in harmony with the world and your inner and outer world. And then to close, before we go into meditation, for those of you that are really getting pulled in by the last hurrah of the mental mind control, I really encourage you, power down your devices, spend more time outside, take time for yourself to regain your inner understanding of who you are. And all of that is meant to create divisiveness. And you would be surprised at that. What do they say? Truth is stranger than fiction. So you'd be surprised. There's a lot of that going on. So with that being said, it's really exciting that we have this space, and I encourage you to find it for yourself, even if it's a small amount each day, and then really dive into what it means to love deeply like a mother, unconditionally, without an agenda, without an expectation. It's really a selfless act, and mothers do that in nature all around the world. And this is the mother's era. So welcome. And the sun just peeked out right now here where I am. So it's perfect time for us to go into our meditation. So first of all, let all of that wash away. You can always come back to it later. And then I would like you to come up, if possible, into an upright seated position, taking a nice, gentle, deep breath in. And then exhale out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Another one, inhale. And exhale. And as you continue to breathe in and out, I welcome you to gently observe your natural breathing pattern. If your mind is still a little busy, keep your eyes open and gaze at a focal point down in front of you.
circle in the sun.
And gently from there, I welcome you to gently lean back and recline or move fully into Shavasana, a prone position on your back with your palms facing upward as we transition into receiving sound. As you settle in, just take a nice gentle breath into the heart and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. And one more inhale. And exhale. And then continue to follow your natural breathing pattern. ano ane ai ane ane om ane ane om ano no ane ai ane ane lam ano ane ai ane ane ram ane ane ram. Taking a soft, gentle breath, breathing in and out of your heart center. Gently taking a moment to bring your awareness back to my speaking voice. And as you connect, taking some gentle full body breaths at your own flow, just bringing it in and then holding the breath for a moment and then exhaling out. And as you continue to breathe in and out, I just gently welcome you to take a simple observation of yourself in a flash of where you're ready to let it be. So this might be something internally and or externally that has created a push-pull that maybe you've been fighting for, you've been reaching for, and it's hasn't resolved itself. And so that would be that let it be. So take moments today and tomorrow to see where that might be unfolding. And then from there, I want to welcome you to really see where you can embrace loving deeper. If our focus becomes to love ourselves, and not in a I-centric way, but to really care for yourself. If you are self-loathing, to learn how to love yourself deeply. You need to be able to do that before you could have a healthy relationship with someone else. And so if you spend more time nourishing self and then others, there's not time to create that friction and tension and the HATE word. And so the Cosmic Mother and Earth Mother will continue to step forward to help humanity learn how to sweep out the obstacles, which usually take form in fear, doubt, control. That control is the things we grasp for, that we want, but have not allowed them to come in effortlessly. So I will let you sit with that and take some time, if you have it in this moment, to maybe contemplate that a little further and then write about that so it can stick with you during this lunar cycle. And from there, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here in this moment. And we have River in the background having a little nighttime dreaming. It's interesting how it chimed in right then. He must be having his own things he is ready to sweep out. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here in this moment. I really appreciate you creating the space so that you can nourish yourself and receive. That's the feminine, learning how to receive. And then we have more to give. So all of you have feminine energy, practice receiving. And then I also want to thank Randa Brab, Dante Moreno, Kadri Scott for your contributions. Really encourage you to support the arts. Each one of them has something that you can connect with their great work and their new work. We're going to exit out with Fields of Flowers. And until next time, this is Suzanne signing out with a full heart, a soft gaze, a deep bow, and a namaste. Be simply.
Something changed. It'll feel so strange now. And if you show what remains, I will never say no. And like a river flows, my love remains. And I'm not ready to let go. So please just stay. Jasmine, warm air rest in a minute, we're burning. Children laughing and people passing, the world spins, but we just stand still. There is love, watch it fade. Don't you feel so strange now? And how do you